Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. So, we're driving the Integra today for the first time, other than making my final video on, announcing that I'm going to be ripping this thing apart. Well, ripping it apart, taking the turbo off. So, we got it down to the shop safely. It is summer, unfortunately, here in Arizona, so I was a little concerned about the drive, but temps were good, oil temps were fine. I was babying it, but also my zip tie on the hood broke, so I had to go really, like the speed limit. Otherwise, the one part of the hood was like flapping up. So a little scary, but that's part of what I'm doing today. I got, replacement latches finally. I've just been really pushing it off to the side. So I will be putting those new ones on, so that way I don't have to worry about my hood flying up next time I drive this thing home, or at least to the head builder's house. But yeah, so we're gonna I'm just gonna start this thing. I guess I don't have a whole lot of an introduction to that. Doge should be coming by here in a bit. It's 10 to noon right now. I just got back from Florida a couple hours ago, got off the plane. We had a super early flight, and at first I hated it, but once we landed, I was glad for it because we walked past, security through Sky Harbor, and good God, man, the line was a mile long. So when we got to Tampa, to the security gates, it was, half of a zigzag back, and I was like, oh, this is going to take forever, but Tampa's pretty quick. They got us through in like 8 minutes, so yeah, RIP anybody at Sky Harbor today on Memorial Day, and also for you veterans, thank you for your service for Memorial Day, because that's when I'm filming this video at least. But anyways, yeah, I'm going to let this thing finish cooling off, and then, well, I'm going to take Efren for a rip because he hasn't ridden in the turbo setup yet. Yep. But yeah, going to do this really quick. I probably won't film that because the camera is going to get hot, I'm sure. Yeah, we'll start tearing this thing apart. Hopefully Doge shows up sooner than later. Not that there's a whole lot for me to tear apart, but I think I have to modify stuff. We'll get into it here in a little bit, but I will see you guys in a minute. All right, I took it for a quick little rip with Efren. So now I'm just going to let this stuff cool down for a little bit. Obviously, it's going to be very hot. There's really not a whole lot to do, like I had mentioned. Essentially, we're just, I'm going to disconnect the lines from the turbo, take off my oil drain, which is the TCT cover. I have the billet one, replace that with, the OEM cover, take off all the charge pipe, the oil cooler lines, my sandwich plates, and then just like the boost controller. That's really all that goes into this, because the rest of it's, just tuning, and then the injectors. I am putting the stock injectors back on. I had them serviced. They're cleaned and recapped. They're all new. Yeah, so pretty easy, straightforward. Undo the intercooler, such. So I'm going to take a quick video on my phone for the new owner that I'm going to be sending this stuff to, so that way he understands, how things are routed, how things go, and such. But let me show you this stuff. This is what essentially we're putting in. Not all of this is going in today. So the oil cooler, this is the factory one, well, a cooler. May or may not put that on today because I don't know if I have the hoses for it. Here's my injectors, all clean and fancy. New hood latches. This is just the stuff for the head build, like the head studs, the valves, etc. Here is a new ignition switch I may try and put in, so I can hopefully get rid of my stupid push to start thing that I added when I was like, 20 years old. I forget what's in this box. Obviously the intake pipe and the header that I may or may not have to modify, which I probably will have to change this to a V-band. So yeah, this is all. Oh, and then this is the timing chain tensioner cover that I was telling you about. This is the stock one. Yeah, pretty straightforward. Biggest thing is just going to be getting it done, cleaning up the parts, and figuring out how to package them so that way I can ship them, because I'm trying to save on shipping, obviously. So yeah, I'll figure this stuff out, and then we'll get something going on in here. Alright, so obviously Doge is here. You may have seen him in the time lapse before the camera died. We should be good. Everything on the bottom. Obviously, you can see the oil cooler floating here. I have to pull that from the top because I have the line zip tied off to the side up top. Downpipes disconnected. O2 sensors are disconnected. All the oil stuff. So should be good. But he's got the charge pipe off on the floor here. Intercooler's off and the mounts for the intercooler. So drop this down and start working up top. Tuckers. Maybe. Alright, so we're almost done ripping things out topside. Just really the last part is just the intake and then change injectors. I'm sorry, the intake on the turbo here. But the turbo stuff is hot itself, so we're going to let that cool for a few minutes longer. Put downpipes out, oil lines are out. I got to pull the cooler lines out really quick, but we're just about there already.
Doge.
That's right. You want to do me a favor? Just hang on to that. Like, get a beefy grip. Thanks.
What can I say? I know how to make them.
Yeah, right? It's like you do this, huh?
Sometimes. Alright, so this is where these guys come here, and then we'll just drop that down the bottom. There's our oil cooler.
Nice. Dang, these are beefy, holy crap.
On the dash 10.
Yeah.
Alright, so oil cooler. Made a little bit of a mess because there's oil in the cooler on the lines. But, you know, Super Clean's got our back. So we got some floor absorbent. Putting it to use right now.
Oh, Mike tracked down the guy. Yeah, I thought there was actual person in here.
Sheer disappointment.
She's gonna spit some fuel.
Probably.
Want me to prime? Are you gonna cap it off?
No.
No, we're just moving this out of the way for a minute to get the injectors out.
Oh. Okay.
This is how you know Chris takes good care of his cars, because he still has the little hooks on his injectors. I've broken probably every single one on every injector I put on my K-Series.
I try.
I don't know what it is.
Okay, we got it. Took all three of us to get the lines and stuff out of the way. Oh, still on there. Still somehow. Okay. Now we're good.
Wow. Would you look at that?
Man, a fat pool of coolant.
Where
That's
should
not
I?
good though. Yeah, I just set it here, I guess.
Where do you want it to rest it on? Like just on the like this?
Yeah, that's fine. It's all cast. It's strong. Didn't take a whole lot of time. Probably an hour into it, really. I do not have the hose that I need right now where you loop right here, like I mentioned before. So, you know, I don't know that I'll be able to start it today. It is what it is. I do have to pull the, you know, the drain fitting off of the block for the, you know, cover thing and put the factory one on. But otherwise, yeah, it's all good. I'm just gonna clean up and then take some photos of this for the guy. I already sent him videos on how it's all, you know, assembled. But yeah, that's a whole K20 right-hand drive DA turbo kit. Pretty cool. Okay, back from lunch. got this thing still sitting in the air. Everybody else went home, so now it's just me. I'm just moving on to the last few pieces. This stuff, again, this is all for the head stuff. This I'm going to slap in, this I'm going to put on before the end of the day. So this is what I'm going to move on to here in a moment, but in the meantime, I'm trying to get the header situated. Now, the reason I never changed this to a V-bend is because I thought I was just going to sell this, which I never ended up doing. So I'm going to go ahead, reuse this. I do have another 3-bolt flange. Now, I don't have a gasket, but I also don't feel like going through the trouble right now to deal with a V-bend set up on the header. So I'm just going to deal with an exhaust leak. Well, granted, I can't even fire it today, so we're just going to slap this on, and I'll find a gasket on my way home today to be able to sort this thing out. But this is the right size, the bolts line up. So let's go ahead, get this thing put up, and then this is just going to go on the mid pipe, or my test pipe, as most people would know it as. And it should be pretty quick. I'm going to just grind that stuff down really quick, and then test fit this guy. So pretty much everything is done except for the coolant line, which I don't really feel like doing today. I'm going to go home when I get done with this stuff and check and see if I have that U-shaped one that goes from the throttle body area to like the water tube or whatever. If not, I have hose here. I just don't know if it's going to kink, but I also don't feel like making another mess. So if I do it, I'm going to do it right outside the shop so I can hose it away because I don't have a mop in here. So all that's left is just to modify the mid pipe. Now I got the header on, got the PCV line hooked up, got the intake set up, put back on, which I will be rebuilding my intake tube after I do the RBC swap because obviously this one's not going to fit. I'm going to clean it up, make it a lot nicer. But yeah, I put the starter wire on, the one that's actually in the harness, so that way when I plug in my new ignition switch, hopefully it works like it should with just, you know, turning the key without having to use my little push button. So we're looking pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and modify this mid pipe really quick. I'm basically just going to chop it back like an inch, put the 3-bolt flange on it, and we should be good to go. Alright, I finally just finished up the last bit for the day, which was the hood pins, well the hood latches I should say, swapping those out. Because if you guys didn't see before, mine had just exploded, so yeah, that's all that's left of it. I had to use zip ties to hold it down. But yeah, no, they're good. They these ones popped right in, so wha-bam, wha-bam. So yeah, we're good. The only thing is I had to trim very slightly down on the edge there just to make it clear, because I kind of tack welded these pins in place so they don't really rotate that well. Well, I mean, the one on the left side here, driver's side does, but the other side doesn't rotate. But yeah, they're all done. And the hood, you know, got to be a little, well, that side goes easy. This side kind of got to, oh, well, maybe they lined themselves up. Just a minute ago I had to tap them into place. But they're good, and I pretty much have nothing else to do for the day. All right, so on that note, I'm just going to end the video off here. I don't have much else to do, so you know what, let's end it here, and I will pretty much get the rest of this done right before I take it to the dude doing the head work, which is my buddy Mike. So if you enjoyed the video, be sure to let me know in the comments down below. If you're new to the channel, hopefully by now you've considered subscribing. You know, I do have a P.O. box if anybody ever wants to send me anything. I also have my big cartel where you can get some of my merch, and we got some cool changes coming up, so hopefully you guys stick around for it and you like it. Both on the channel here soon and just, you know, shop and stuff in general. But yeah, thanks for spending some time out of your day. Do what you love, forget about the rest. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.